Hello, welcome back to the channel where it feels like episode 686 of clearing the plot at the end of the season. And this week is no exception to that, I'm sorry, because this week I want to tackle this section of the garden behind me. I need to clear off a lot of things around here, get this mulched ready for next season, and just make it a little bit tidier, because it's certainly looking past its best now, isn't it? I need to clear off the asparagus. I need to have a look at what's going on with the artichokes in that bed as well. Rhubarb here has died back, lots of weeds in this bed that need sorting, and I still have a pumpkin to harvest. In fact, I'm saying I still have a pumpkin to harvest. I actually completely forgot that there was a pumpkin there, and that isn't the only one, because there is another one hiding behind the asparagus bed as well. Now, thank you for all the well wishes over my poorly thumb. It is doing a lot better, and I have reduced the size of the dressing on it this week so that I've got a bit more bend in it, which should mean that I can do a little bit more with it. Right, I'm going to go find the wheelbarrow and make a start. Now, I'm going to try and use this tool, which on So Chatty this week I said was the tool that I bought that I least use, and I can't remember what it actually called it, but the idea it said was that it made rows for you to sew into, and I just thought it was easier to, you know, with your hand, so I don't actually use it. But Robin from Robin's Gardens suggested I use it for weeding around plants, so I thought I'll just see what it does here. Although I'm not weeding around plants, I'm just emptying, but I just thought I'd see if it did get anything out of the way. And you know what? It's not bad. I feel like the weeds have been relentless this year. I'm like, is that weather related, or is that because it is the second year with the garden now? So I'm quite keen to not just cardboard the beds again and cover them. I'm quite keen to try and get them out, because things like the dandelions and obviously the plantain and things, they're not annual weeds, they keep coming back again and again. Oh, and so will that one, because I broke that one as well. There's no way around it. I do need a spade. Look at that. Right, now I'm going to take this pumpkin up as well and drag him into the frame. He's a good one. And this one that has got the stem already kind of rotten onto it, this is another polar bear. This sounds quite hollow. Now, I haven't harvested anything from the amaranth this year at all, but what I will do is shake some of the heads into the ground, might even just bury them there like that, and with a bit of luck they'll self-seed for next year. Now, these butternut squashes didn't get any bigger, but at least I have managed to grow a few this year, even if they are absolutely tiny. Surely I've got enough with the 3 of them here to make 1 bowl of soup, a big bowl hopefully. I am taking down the birdhouse gourds that are outside. They haven't grown very big out here anyway, but they are starting to die back on the vines, and they feel really light, so I'm hoping that that's a good sign that these are going to cure okay, even though they are only small ones. I mean, this one here does not look very healthy anyway. I don't know whether this is the natural curing process, how it should go, because we keep being told they're going to go mouldy. But having not grown them before, I don't know if this is a normal part of the stage or whether this one is actually going bad. So I'm going to have to leave it somewhere just to kind of check in with it and see what happens. I could have left these for a few more days, but they are not going to enjoy the frost coming next week. So whilst I'm tidying out down here, didn't really seem any point in leaving them in any longer. So this is my rhubarb crown, and it has been really healthy this year, considering it was only planted in spring this year. And I had every intention of putting some manure on top of this for overwinter. But if you did watch our episode of So Chatty on Tuesday, you'll know that Kerry mentioned Freedom Forest Farm and how they say the secret to their enormous, absolutely enormous rhubarbs is to mulch them with wood chip. Now I have some really well rotted wood chip in these pathways here that needs replacing over winter. So I'm thinking I might just shovel a couple of shovel loads of wood chip on this one and then put manure on the one in the other bed and maybe compare them next year, see which one looks healthier. This is well and truly rotted and not quite compost, but well on its way to being compost. So I think it's the perfect kind of wood chip to spread around this rhubarb crown. I don't want to stumble over the big hole that I've left in the path, so until I do replace the rest of the paths, and I might just shovel all of this into the beds, but I don't have time today to do the wood chip. I'm just going to re-rake that across, level it back out again, and pretend I haven't done that. I think that will spare my ankles. And then this rhubarb crown here, we'll get manure on it later on in the season. It's not quite died back yet, so it's not ready for that. Right, what's the next job? Oh yes, it's this. I need to tackle the asparagus fronds. My sister cut hers down quite a few weeks ago actually, and hers has started to put up new spears, I have noticed. And I have been saying, I think since the end of September, that this is a September job, an October job, but it is most definitely a November job. So I'm going to get these cut down, and then I really do want to mulch the asparagus heavily, because as I've said, we do have that frost and a threat of snow for next week. Now these are tied in here, so I think I'm going to have to do a little bit of jiggery pokery to get them free. I've really enjoyed having the asparagus in the garden this year, even if you don't like eating it, which thankfully I do. It's been great to take a few of the bits of fronds for some floral displays as well. Very handy. And now I just need to find how it's tied on. They are not going to look good next week with the frost that is forecast, so I might as well take them out of the ground now, because what I want to show you is that I too have new spears coming up. I mean, look at the size of the spear there. That is, oh, I've just broke it. But that is a brand new spear growing up. And if you look here, you can see there's a few more spears coming up again. I remember them doing that last year. Pretty sure they didn't. Everything's been very confused. I will just wipe away all these extra little bits. Oh, you donut. Are you getting all the string? Are you playing with it? I'm going to leave you to it now, okay? Be careful. I've put an SOS out to Duncan. I want to put some manure in these beds behind me now they've been cleared, and you know, the theme of next week's So Chatty is going to be work smarter, not harder. So I might as well adopt that theme right now. But he isn't just ready yet, so until he is ready, I am going to do some work on the asparagus. He's just loading up silage so that we can bring the cattle in. It is TB testing this week, so it's a really busy week on the farm. And I am distracted. I keep looking this way because if I turn the camera around, they are so hungry. They have not been fed in the field today because he's getting the shed ready to bring them in to feed them in there. And they keep coming to the gate over and over during the day, complaining that they've not been fed. I'm only doing this bed today because it wasn't the best manure actually. He seems to have managed to pick up the hard stuff that's been compacted at the bottom of the pile. So I'm just going to spread out onto this bit what I could get, and then he'll bring me some more to do the other bed, but that won't be today because, as I said, he's really busy. That's what we're all running out of at the moment, isn't it? Daylight hours. I'm satisfied that the asparagus are going to be well fed over winter, but that is not all I'm going to do to mulch them. I'm actually going to add some of my compost on top, and I haven't used any of it yet this year, so let's go and see if it's any good. This is the compost bin that I was growing pumpkins in over summer. So it is a mixture of manure and compost on top. And I'm hoping that it will be just good enough to put on top of the asparagus now. Right. It looks pretty good. My only concern is that it might have quite a lot of weed seeds in it, especially with it going on the asparagus, but I just need to keep them in check. In fact, I think what I might grow in here more than anything is probably tomato seedlings. Absolutely gorgeous. Now I need to see if I can tip any of it in there. Oh yeah. I'm just very gently going to spread it out around them. Now I am doubting myself a little bit with these ones here. I think maybe I've left them perhaps too exposed. So I'm just going to cut those ones a little bit shorter. Put them over the fence and then just cover that back over. Because they're in a contained bed, I do kind of know where they are. I guess if you've got them in an open bed and you're not sure where in the bed they are, you'd want to leave them up a little bit more. That's better. I feel better about them being more protected like that. Now, I'm pretty certain you haven't failed to notice the artichokes in the background here. They have just suddenly died back I don't know if that is normal, because I felt like they didn't die back this early last year, even with the frosts. I don't quite know why they've decided to go before the frosts, but anyway, they have. So I've just had a little pull of one of them, and wow, there are, oops, dropped it. There seems to be quite a lot of artichokes on here. They look okay. I mean, that one's massive there, isn't it? Oh no, it's not. They're not too big. They're actually quite perfect size. But I'm going to be cutting down all of this foliage now. It looks really tatty. It's not going to be serving these artichokes anyway. And these can stay in the ground for the majority of winter. Just come out and harvest them when you need them. They certainly don't look very nice, do they? I was assured that this variety, the dwarf artichoke, was not remotely as invasive as the large, giant sunchoke type artichokes that have the great big yellow flowers on them. But my experience is showing me so far that they do appear to have spread quite a way across this bed, and I felt like I dug quite a lot of them up last year because I actually gave the majority of the harvest away to other people. Such was my confidence that it was not going to invade their gardens if they grew them. I may owe a few people an apology. I can see quite a lot of artichokes right at the surface here. So I think I am going to go and get a little bit more compost and put that on top of these here. But I wouldn't have wanted to put any manure on here because that half of the bed has got the ochre in. And I mean, this is dying back now, so I'm hoping it won't be long before I'll be able to harvest that as well. But I don't want to put manure on that this close to harvest season. Very close to the surface. Look at that. Definitely not affecting the harvest. Oh, maybe I'll just pull the whole thing out. Now, I would definitely recommend you don't put the artichoke roots in your compost bin unless you want them to take over that space as well. I'm just going to sweep some up around the ochre just because I think some might be quite close to the surface and that should protect them a little bit. It looks so different down there. I don't think that was a bad afternoon's work. Now, before I go in for the evening, I will be back out on the garden tomorrow. I need to do one last job, and that's because we have an obscene amount of rain forecast for tomorrow. I think the entire country has a lot of rain forecast tomorrow. So I want to be harvesting or taking in all of these dried beans behind me. Now these are the French beans, the ones that were supposed to be eaten as normal French beans, but they went over while my mother-in-law was in hospital. So I've left them to dry. Not your typical drying bean, but I felt like it was worth getting at least some harvest out of them. And obviously they're going to get very wet tomorrow, followed by a frost a couple of days later. So I think it's best to cut my losses, take them in now. I don't think they're going to get any drier than they are right now. I have some paper bags for this job. In fact, I'm actually quite distracted at the moment, and I'll show you why. We have a microlight flying over, and given that the sun is about to set, you would think that maybe they wouldn't want to be in the sky right now. Anyway, distracted, back to the job in hand. Let's see how many of these beans we can get. And then I'll lay them out in the house and try and dry them properly and see if it works. It was always an experiment. It's not that long since I sowed these really, is it? But I can't remember what colour the seeds were when they were sown. But if I just open this one here, if you look at those, they look okay, don't they? They look like French bean seeds. So maybe they were just a plain colour like this. don't think there's any more that are salvageable now. Everything else on here looks slightly mouldy or already open. I might as well finish today's work by taking down this bean structure. I've never really liked it, have I? Because I've always felt like it's obstructed my view of the plot. And even though there's not a lot to see growing on the garden at this time of year, I'm quite looking forward to not having it obscuring what I do have to look at. Oh look, they'll be happy. It's finally time to bring the cattle in, and hopefully they do pass the TB testing tomorrow. I'll let you know the results in next week's video. Where's Diego? Oh, here he comes, look. Look at Diego. He's a big lad now. Oh, he's running. He's a big boy. Now, it doesn't look very neat and tidy in here. I will come through here and do a proper weed, obviously get out any of the pernicious weeds and then top this bed up as well. But I don't know why. I feel like it's so wide open now to just get rid of those. Now getting those out has just made me think that I have one more thing that I probably should just harvest today. I don't really want to have to be processing it because of my sore thumb. But before it goes any darker, I just want to take some of these carrots out of here, if there are any big ones left, because I'm a bit worried that they're going to split because of the rain that we have forecast. Wow, that's not a bad one. Oh, you're a nice one. You're a nice carrot. I don't mind. I'll let you off for being a bit wonky. Oh, look at that one! Wow! That one. Oh, I'm glad I've just harvested these. Now, I'm not going to take this one in because this one had actually gone to seed. As you can see here, got the flower head on it, so I won't be having anything off that. It'll be quite woody instead. But all of these, this is an amazing, wow! Wow! And it's not split. I said in So Chatty on Tuesday that my favourite thing to harvest is carrots, and I still stand by that. I blooming love harvesting carrots. Pure joy. Oh! Oh! Wow! A purple one. Look at that. Absolutely amazing. Oh, I'm so happy with that one too. Look at them. I did not know that there was that many carrots left in the bed. I am absolutely thrilled with them, especially this giant purple carrot, because they are my favourite carrots. Now, I still can't get this thumb wet, so what I think I'm going to do is just tie these in some bags, seal the bags up, any little holes in them, put some tape over them, put them in the fridge, and I'll leave them in there until I'm ready to process them. They will keep for months in the fridge that way. So that's a top tip for avoiding having to do a full-on process straight away. And just like that, that is another bed completely emptied. Right, I'll catch you back on the plot tomorrow. We'll see what the weather's doing then. it is the morning after the night before, as they say, and Storm Claudia came through, and I don't think I was quite aware that we were supposed to be getting a bit of a bad storm. I knew that we were getting a lot of rain, but the wind has taken its toll on a few of the structures around the garden, and there's other things that are even more damaged, which I'll show you shortly. Poor globe artichokes have taken a real battering as well, and really everything along this row is looking like it's had a bit of an experience with the wind. Even the obelisk that's on the rose has taken a bit of a beating from the weather. I am even more grateful now than ever that we put this structure in last week, because I'm certain that these trees would have really struggled in the wind yesterday. We very rarely get an easterly wind, and that's what's happened, which means the wind has blown this way straight across the garden. Polytunnels are okay, my sister's greenhouses are okay, but mine, let's go and have a look. Because those easterlies, they've been coming this way towards the front of the greenhouses, and unfortunately, for the first time ever, I have glass out of the greenhouses. 2 panels out of this one, another panel here, and there's even glass on the roof up there, so it must have blown up onto the roof, because that isn't obviously from a roof pane. If I come round this side of this greenhouse, we have another broken pane here on the side. But worst of all, we've got glass inside the greenhouse here, so obviously these beds are now going to have a really good going through, and I'll have to be really mindful to wear gloves in here next year. Obviously the first job to do is pick up this glass, and I'm going to be using my gloves that were sent to me early this year or late last year, I think it was, from Stormy for the brambles and things. I thought they're the thickest gloves I've got to be able to use to help pick up this glass as well. I actually feel very lucky that this is all the damage I have, as much as it is a bit of an inconvenience and slightly annoying. It was a quick trip to the local hardware store, only in the village, a couple of miles drive away, and I got 4 panes of glass. Well, actually I bought 5, I bought a spare one. So this is a very easy and quick fix for me. Just more bothered about the glass that's being left around, because you can't pick every last bit up, can you? And then what do you do with glass? I've never had that amount of quantity of glass to dispose of before. I mean, where do you put it? This greenhouse that I'm in at the moment was bought in 1987, and it weathered the big storm of 1987 and many storms in the almost 40 years since that date. A lot of that time is before my time being on the farm as well, but they've never lost a pane of glass through storm damage. Now that's not to say they've never broken any glass in the greenhouse. I think the strimmer and the mower were guilty of a few bit of indiscretions, as was a football at some point in the past, but no storm damage ever before. And it's really strange that the storm damage has come between the 2 greenhouses. Thankfully, as annoying as it is to have to do a repair, it's a pretty simple one, and I just put those clips on there. I'm feeling very efficient 6.5 hours after noticing that the greenhouses were broken. They're both repaired again and back to full working order. don't seem to have suffered any other damage. The trees on the new orchard on the lawn, I was quite concerned about those, but all of those seem to be okay, although it does look like the pine tree has had a bit of a rough shake by the amount of bits of leaves that are around the garden. Join us for So Chatty, where we will be announcing details of how to enter our Advent giveaway, where you can win a seed calendar, a So Chatty mug and a few other little bits and pieces. And I'll catch you in my video next weekend. Look after yourself. Bye!